Premier League. 10 talking points from the weekend's action. 1. Tragedy chanting mars Luton's near miss. Luton are credit to the Premier League. It has been delightful to see the elite struggle at Kenilworth Road, and in Liverpool's case, almost coming a cropper. Rob Edwards' team makes up for a deficit in quality with sheer effort and collective spirit, though Takith Chong's goal was a beauty. The atmosphere was electric too, with 10,000 Bedfordshire voices urging on their team. Unfortunately, the ground's tight confines betrayed the subject matter of some unseemly songs from certain Luton fans. Tragedy chanting is a relic that belongs in the era when Luton were last in the top division. Songs mocking poverty on Merseyside are especially ridiculous when Luton's unemployment rate is above the national average, and that in Liverpool. Meanwhile, the residential area surrounding the stadium betrays visible deprivation in a town where life is often hard. The loudmouths were a minority, but they severely let their club and community down. 2. Fulham paying price for lack of firepower. Replacing Alexander Mitrovic was always going to be easier said than done. None of Fulham's current strikers, Raul Jimenez, Rodrigo Muniz, and Carlos Vinicius, are in his class as a goalscorer, and rarely was his absence felt more keenly than during Fulham's defeat by Manchester United. Muniz started but limped off in tears, while Jimenez and Vinicius have been underwhelming this season. Fulham fans may be left wondering what, exactly, the most expensive season tickets in the Premier League buy you. Marco Silva has been clear about the need for the club's owners to spend in January. In the meantime, does his team have enough firepower to avoid being sucked into a relegation scrap? 3. Arteta's rant blows issue out of proportion. Mikel Arteta appeared close to spontaneous combustion as he launched into a rather undignified rant about the perceived injustice of Newcastle's winner. Anthony Gordon's second-half goal was given following a triple VAR check for 3 potential offenses, but it was not the only controversy in an intense, evenly matched contest. The thought occurred that had a female coach reacted like Arteta did, they might expect to be labeled as hysterical, unbalanced, or overly emotional. Amid the headline quotes, Arteta also had to admit Eddie Howe's Newcastle has morphed into big contenders. Fabian Schär, a £3 million central defensive signing by Rafael Benitez, was an example of the host's superb defensive work and sublime distribution. On the balance of play, Arsenal should not feel they were entitled to a point at St. James Park. 4. While VAR furor takes heat off Raya. Picking through the wreckage of Arteta's attack on VAR, it is worth remembering none of his anger would have been required had David Raya simply claimed Joe Willock's cross. Arteta's call to drop Aaron Ramsdale in favor of Raya was invariably going to invite pressure, and with every game, it is hard to shake the notion that he has manifested a problem that did not need solving. Newcastle made life difficult for Raya from the off, Callum Wilson hounding the goalkeeper inside the first minute. Of the 3 VAR checks that followed Gordon's contentious winner, perhaps the most surprising verdict was Joel Linton being cleared for his push on Gabriel Magalhaes. Regardless, while Arteta rails at Premier League officials, his own decision-making should also face scrutiny. 5. Cooper leads Forest praise for brave Bugler. Steve Cooper told Nottingham Forest season ticket holder Caden Story, "Everyone was really proud of him," after the young Bugler struggled to finish his rendition of The Last Post before the victory over Aston Villa. The 16-year-old fan was comforted by both sets of players after appearing distraught after his performance on the Sunday before Remembrance Day. Cooper, the Forest manager, said, "For a 16-year-old boy in a Forest shirt to stand in the middle and do that is brilliant." And both sets of players responded. They have to go and perform, the players, so they know what it's like. The last post is always a poignant moment anyway. I managed to get a quick word with him, and we're going to get him down to the training ground. I want him to meet the players so they can tell them how good he was. Caden did a brilliant job today. 6. Doku hits back in selection battle with Grealish. After a blistering display that featured a goal and 4 assists, Pep Guardiola discussed why Jeremy Doku is the ideal competition for Jack Grealish. "I want Jack angry to be left out, and I want him to play good, and then Doku to be angry that he hasn't played the last 2 games," the Manchester City manager said. Jack is back. The way he played at Old Trafford in City's 3-0 Derby win to give us more composure was decisive for us. Is there room for both informed wingers on his side? I can play both at the same time, but when they don't play, train better the next day because the moment is coming. When you are mentally there, you will perform well, and we will win games. This is what we must do. 7. Blades need players back to build on first win. Whether Sheffield United can use their first Premier League victory of the season as the springboard for a genuine survival bid is in doubt, given the current state of their squad. Cameron Archer was the club's only fit senior striker at the time of scoring against Wolves, with Oli McBurney ruled out with a groin problem and Ryan Brewster hobbling off before time, making it 10 players on the treatment table for Paul Heckingbottom's side. William Osula, the other striking option, is an untested 20-year-old from the academy. That Heckingbottom chose to make only 2 substitutions, one enforced through Brewster's injury and the other in added time, spoke volumes. The Blades cannot realistically hope to stay up while so many remain sidelined. McBurney, Max Lowe and Anil Ahmed Hodzik may at least return soon, but January investment may well be required to give United a puncher's chance. With Prince Abdullah looking to sell the club, that might be a tall order too. 8. Moyes' halftime team talks aren't working. What exactly does David Moyes say to his players at halftime? West Ham conceded 7 goals during the first 20 minutes of the second half this season. Moyes put it down to a lack of concentration and focus after his side's 3-2 defeat by Brentford. But there is more to it than that. It feels structural. It is a mindset. West Ham have talented attackers, but it was as if they forgot how to play during the second half. They dropped back, offered nothing as an attacking force, and duly conceded a messy equalizer. Brentford were rewarded for being more assertive. West Ham, though, are in a bind. The caution is holding them back. Moyes, whose contract expires at the end of the season, must address the issue as they have now lost 3 on the bounce and are in the bottom half of the table. 9. Milner and Young at heart of the action. There was an intriguing battle down Everton's right flank at Goodison Park on Saturday, where 38-year-old fullback Ashley Young took on 37-year-old James Milner. The two played together for England under-21s over 17 years ago, before Evan Ferguson had celebrated his 2nd birthday, when both were sprightly attacking midfielders. They have adapted over time to still be integral parts of their respective teams almost 2 decades later. Their longevity is testament to their flexibility. Both have played in various positions for several clubs while maintaining their high standards. Recently, Milner suffered 45 minutes of being turned inside out by Jeremy Doku at Manchester City, while Ashley Young was sent off in the Merseyside Derby. Both men put in fine performances in the weekend's 1-1 draw though, even if Young was credited with Brighton's deflected equalizer. Both veterans are thriving and will be eager to reacquaint themselves next season, and maybe even the one after that. 10. Company could be running out of time. A record 6 home defeats from the start of the season is less than desirable for Burnley, and excuses are running thin for Vincent Kompany. A run of winnable fixtures against Brentford, Bournemouth and Crystal Palace was supposed to be when a corner was turned, but a return of precisely 0 points threatens to add Kompany to the list of great players and on-pitch leaders of men who can't cut it as Premier League managers. That Burnley have got Manchester City, Aston Villa, Tottenham, Manchester United and Chelsea out of the way at Turf Moor may soon be to another manager's benefit. You put your hand on the fire, you burn yourself, and from then, you know you can't put your hand on the fire anymore, said Kompany, such high-performance spiel echoing the likes of Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard. Arsenal next week, and a visit from West Ham could well be fateful.